You're watching today's Homesteader channel here at Peaceful Valley Ranch in Cotopaxi, Colorado, starring yours truly, Johnny Jules. Alright, Homesteader family. So it's about 7:25 in the morning and we're going to head over to Peaceful Valley Ranch. I got the goats loaded up and we're going to go take them and get them introduced. And I figured I'd just take you guys along for a ride so you can see the views that I see and what the roads are like out here in Cotopaxi, Colorado. So I'm over here at by my new place and I just got headed out. I saw a couple deer, but they took off. So hopefully along the ride you guys be able to get to see some deer. So we'll see what happens and see what we see, and who knows, maybe a bear will come back out. That's my hope. I wish I would have had this dash cam thing that I just got yesterday, because that would have been nice. You would have been able to see the deer and I could have had it filmed right off the bat, but that's life. Things happen and I can't get everything filmed. So anyhow, the goats, I learned Mini-Me snores worse than anybody I ever know. So it was so hard to sleep last night because Mini-Me just snores and snores and snores. And I learned they were nervous because they peed a lot last night. So now it's time to get them over there, get them introduced, and see how everything goes. And then I also have my tools and everything like that, because I got 4 more sheets of plywood so I can get the goat barn buttoned up better, and that will make it a lot nicer for the goats. It will seal it in more. And then I also got a couple bales of straw for more bedding, and I also got a bale of alfalfa for the new goats, and the other goats will get to enjoy some alfalfa too. So here we go. I'm not going to talk any more of the ride. I'm just going to let you guys check out the ride and see what we see. I'll be back with you guys when I get to the homestead, when I shut the camera off, and then I'll get the tripod set up and film the introduction of the goats, how I put them in the pen, and how I deal with any fighting if there's any fighting. So I'll be back with you guys in a while. we got some turkeys crossing the road. There goes turkeys. Bambi. Now I've seen a bunch of deer on this ride. I don't know if you guys will have seen them except that one that just ran across the road. There's been a bunch on both sides of the road, but because the camera is only so wide, I don't know if it's picking it up. So you guys might be able to see some, but I know for sure you at least saw Bambi that just crossed the road. And I know you definitely can tell all the big mountains and how beautiful the drive is, and with all the different bushes and leaves changing colors and things like that. So we're coming up, we're probably about just over a quarter of the way there. So we still got 3/4 of the way to go. And the scenery and everything will change as we go on farther, and we get up into the higher country. So we'll have a different view than down here in the valley floor. Now when I say valley floor, you know, the elevation here is still over 6,000 feet. So it's not really a valley compared to most places on this planet. but it's a valley compared to 92 to 9400, which the property at Peaceful Valley Ranch is located at. So we're going to climb another 3,000 miles, and those hills you see ahead of us, we're going to be going up through there and up to the other side to where the property is. So stay tuned. We got a nice long ride ahead of us. And just think, it's 32 and a half miles, and I drive 32 and a half miles over, 32 and a half miles back, and I do this every other day. So for those of you that get nervous on far out country roads that go into dirt and things like that, you see what I got to deal with. So it's one part of homesteading. But then again, look at all the traffic. There is none out here. It's a great thing about being out in the middle of nowhere. You don't have to deal with as many people. So here we go. bunch of deer and a little buck. Look at them colors. Oh wow, I know you guys couldn't see that on camera, but the two guys that were standing there on the left hand side of the road, somebody's vehicle went off the road and it's a rollover. They went way down in that ditch. I could just see the front quarter panel of the vehicle protruding up from the depth of the valley or canyon there on the side of the road. So that's why there was a state trooper. Normally you don't normally see any police out here, because they don't come out here unless there's a situation going on. So hopefully everybody's okay in that accident. And I don't know if you can see there on the right hand side, there's a bunch of turkeys that are sitting in that guy's yard. Turkeys are all over the place out here in Cotopaxi. Sometimes you can see up to a couple hundred in a flock. And here on the left hand side of the road, there's a turkey walking. I don't know if you guys can see the animals on the phone with it wobbling and stuff like that. But when you come out here to Cotopaxi and you're driving around, you've got to have good eyes. If you don't have good eyes, you're not going to see anything. And my aunt and my mom know that as a fact now, because they've come out. And if it wasn't for me pointing out animals to them, they wouldn't see the animals, because the animals camouflage themselves really well unless they're in the middle of the road. So luckily, while my mom was here and while my aunt was here, they both were able to see bighorn sheep that I spotted up on the ridges and things like that. Otherwise they would have never got to see that. And then my mom got to see a ring-tailed civet, which is kind of like a meerkat and a raccoon mix. It's a really cute, adorable animal, and that's a ring-tailed civet, S-I-V-E-T, for any of those of you that want to Google that. We had them out here. Got to see a couple of those, and then when my aunt was here, she got to see some coyotes. So neither one got to see the lynx or the bobcat or the mountain lion or the bear, but they got to see other things like antelope and elk and deer and ring-tailed civets and coyotes and things like that. So you never know what you're going to experience out here in Cotopaxi. Another cool thing, down in the valley floor, back where we were, during mating season in August and September, we have tarantulas that are out all the time. And I actually got to see one crossing the road and stopped while my mom was here. Here goes another deer right there. Mama don't know what she's doing. And got out and picked up the tarantula and put it on my shoulder so my mom could get some photos of it and stuff like that. And it's just a whole different world out here. We have tarantulas, we have scorpions. Now we have 3 different varieties of scorpions here in Colorado, and none of the 3 species that are here are poisonous. Now, if they do sting you, it's like a giant bee sting. It does sting because it is still a toxin, but it's not where it's going to kill you. And it stings for between 30 to 45 minutes. So, it's kind of cool. You see all different things in Cotopaxi from all different walks of life that most states you got to go to all different places to see all the different varieties of animals that we have here. And then straight ahead of us is a rock that I named the Serengeti rock because it looks like a rock out of Africa, out of the Serengeti. And from far away, it kind of looks like Sid from Ice Age. And my aunt pointed that out, so now it's no longer the Serengeti rock, it's the Sid rock to me. So it's just, you see all different weird things here that, like I said, you would have to travel to multiple places to see the same amount of things you see here that other states don't provide or other places in the world don't provide. We're half classified as the mountains and we're half classified as the desert. If you can see on the side of the roads and stuff, you know, it's a lot of rock and a lot of sand. And that's why we have scorpions and tarantulas, because of it being partially a desert. We only get about 10 to 11 inches of precipitation a year here in Cotopaxi, and that includes the snowfall. So it's not a lot of moisture. And a lot of things, especially up here, you can see on the road how everything doesn't have a lot of vegetation. You know, it's green during the spring and summer, and then everything dries out so rapidly that it just goes back to dirt. And then it takes until, you know, mid-June, end of June, until everything comes back. So it's just a different way of life out here. And there's a lot of things to learn: homesteading, gardening, and things like that. And what I've found out worked the best over at the first homestead was the hygge culture bed. I know people that are doing flat gardens and raised garden beds and stuff like that, and none of that's holding in the moisture like a hygge culture bed would hold in. And another thing I'm going to be adding is back to eating garden along with the hygge culture bed, which, for those of you that don't know what hygge culture is when you stack a bunch of logs and sticks up to 6 foot tall, and it dates all the way back to the ancient Egyptians. And then you take leaves and straw and twigs and grass clippings and whatever type of biomass that you can get, and you put it inside of the logs in between. Then you cover the whole pile with good soil and compost, and as it rains and as it snows, the moisture goes into the logs, and the logs become a giant water bank. So eventually, after 2 years of the bed decomposing a little bit, the bed becomes active, and it will store the water, and you will only have to water the bed about twice a year. And then, of course, if you're putting new seedlings and stuff like that, you're going to have to water it until it's established. And then once the plant's established, the bed takes over. And depending on how good you build the hygge culture bed, if you build a 6 foot tall, 4 foot wide or so, then they will last up to 25 years of decomposing, releasing nitrogen, and feeding your plants. And then the back to eating garden method, for those of you that don't know, you do a layer of cardboard and dirt and mulch and dirt, and you just continue those layers, and you make it like a lasagna. So that helps hold the moisture in, because between the cardboard and the wood chips, they're absorbing the water underneath each layer of dirt, which acts as a water bank temporarily for your plants. But like I said, with the hygge culture bed, it's more intense, and you have more of a storage capacity with that much wood, where you don't with the back to eating garden. So that's going to be one thing I will be incorporating hopefully next year, I can save up some money and start getting some garden beds set up at the new property, and hopefully get a garden going over there. I will be gardening at Hummingbird Ranch, but another thing I have decided is I'm gonna put my house on the market in June of next year, once all the weather clears and everything like that. And I'm gonna start seeing what type of bids I get on my property, and then whoever I get the highest bid from, I'll go ahead and sell the property. And I'm gonna, if my VA hasn't come through and I had this new property paid off, I'll be taking the money from my house, trying to get a loan through the bank, pay the property off, and hopefully have enough money left over that I can go ahead and start clearing out where my house is going to be and start building. And temporarily, I'll probably be constructing a little shanty or a little homeless shelter, and I'm gonna go back to roughing it until I can get a house built. So it's not something I'm looking forward to, but I'm really not happy at the old homestead anymore, because that wasn't my dream property like this one is. So if I've got to rough it to be happy and be with my animals, that's what I'm gonna do. So you guys will see come June, my house will be on the market. This deer's running across the road. He doesn't know what he's doing. And so I'll have some film on the house, and hopefully, like I said, I can get it sold sometime next summer. Homestead. So we will see. So we're coming up on the dirt road. Once we hit the dirt road, we're about 7 miles away. So I'm gonna go back to stop talking, just let you guys enjoy the rest of you up to the new homestead and see what we see. I'll be back with you guys in a few. There's a lot of properties up here for sale. You're gonna see a lot of signs as we go through. The market's so hot right now, everybody's selling to make the profit and buying a new place, or buying a smaller place until they can afford to buy in when the next recession or collapse happens in the housing market. So if you're looking at Cotopaxi, there's a lot of places. The only problem with this area that I live in, the cheapest property I've seen for sale is like $412,000. The property up here on this north side of Cotopaxi is highly sought after land, because there's a lot of streams like Miller Creek that runs through my property, and Miller Creek runs throughout certain times of the year, so you have live water. And then a lot of places up here have natural springs that are pushing water out the ground, and some people have ponds. So, and also we have all the turkey, the elk, and things like that up here, which makes it a hunter's paradise and things like that. So that's another reason why everything up here is so highly sought after and so highly priced. Most properties that have water up here, you know, you've got to have the house and all that, so it takes a lot of money to get to that. But once you get up to that place and point in life, you're looking at over $400,000. But I don't have to worry about that, because I don't ever plan to sell this property. I plan to hopefully die on this property, because this is my dream property, and I don't want to go anywhere else but here. So we'll find out what happens. We got next 40 years of videos coming out for you guys. And this is Dawson's Pass that we're going up. So this is a steep grade. This is going to take us up over the mountainside. That sign there on the tree says Dawson's Pass. This is going to get us up over this mountain range into the next range. that sun's a bright one. You guys might get blinded for a minute. And here we are at Wall Mountain. It's got the state sign there, the brown and white, the park sign. So we're only 0.6 miles away from the homestead. So I know everybody's going to be excited that I'm finally home. And this 0.6 miles of Wall Mountain is not maintained, as you can tell from the video and the noise. So worst case scenario this winter, I'll have to walk this 0.6 miles to get up here and feed the animals and stuff like that. Hopefully I won't have that problem, but I haven't seen a winter over on the north side of Cotopaxi where this property's at, so I have no idea what's in store. So we're gonna find out this winter. Hopefully it's not too bad. And that building, I don't know if you can see on the far right, was the goat barn that I built. So as I come up to this hill, I always hit my horn so my animals know it's me coming. And hopefully everything's gonna be good. You're gonna get blinded right here just like I am. Here come all the goats. Mickey Mouse is excited. He's jumping along the fence. He's like, Daddy's home. There he is. There's all the goats. There goes Minnie Mouse and some pigs. And I'll be back with you guys as soon as I get the tripod set up and show you guys the goats and everything when I get them introduced. I just want to take a moment and say thank you guys for watching my videos, for donating, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate it, and it really means a lot to me. And remember, live happy, live free. That's the only way to be.